Hi, I'm Steve Tasker, Buffalo Bills alum and sports reporter. I'm excited to be at Roswell Park once again as we celebrate the 26th annual Ride for Roswell, presented by the Westher Automotive Group. While inside of Roswell Park, we'll adhere to their current COVID mask policy. Of course, Roswell Park has patient safety at the forefront of everything they do, and we want to make sure it's a safe environment while inside the hospital. So let's get started. The next 30 minutes are dedicated to our riders, volunteers, donors, sponsors, every person who has participated in the Ride for Roswell. It's going to be jam-packed, so you won't want to miss a moment of the show. And then stay tuned, because later on we'll have a special State of the Center roundtable discussion, moderated by Brian Duff from the Buffalo Sabres broadcast team. Discussions of future of cancer, exciting research that's happening right here in Buffalo, and how donations are helping fuel what could be the next big breakthrough. But first, you might remember last year when we introduced you to Lily Callahan. Lily is an 11-year-old from Atlanta, Georgia, who was diagnosed with glioblastoma after having a seizure at school. Just a year later, we have an inspirational update on Lily and her success with the donor-funded Cervax-M clinical trial, a brain tumor vaccine that was developed right here at Roswell Park. Throughout the night, if you feel inspired by the stories you hear, you too can make a donation to the Ride for Roswell by visiting the website below or scanning the QR code with your smartphone. Now let's see what Lily's been up to this year.
My name is Lily Callahan. I'm 10 years old. I have a brain tumor. It changed my life completely.
Where's my close up? Close up. Ah.
Tomorrow we're going to Buffalo to get a vaccine at Roswell Park to make me better.
There's only so much they can do to treat brain tumors. The first time we really heard of the name of the vaccine was probably when we talked to Dr. Twist for the first time and kind of explained, here in Buffalo, we're using this vaccine called Cervax-M to fight brain tumors of the kind that our daughter has. A year from now, the Lilystrong hashtag is that there's still no new growth, and we're still progressing, and she's getting better, and she doesn't have to take as much steroids anymore because the swelling has gone down because the vaccine is working. So, the hashtag will just continue to be about supporting her and supporting her friends and family.
Lily's doing better. In the past year, she's definitely got a lot more energy, her personality's changed for the better. Just overall, more comfortable in her own skin.
Perfect. Okay, Lily,
Yes,
you look so great.
thank you.
Tell me what your last year was like.
Well, I got my port installed right here. And I've lost a lot of weight, and I don't have the big cheeks anymore. Let's see, I was on the Times Square board. I have more energy, I can actually run now, and I can jump. I feel strong and powerful. Yeah.
You went to Houston, Texas?
Yeah, I went to Houston, Texas for a surgery right here, and they removed about 90% of the tumor.
Since then, she's been able to get off the steroids completely. The seizures aren't happening anymore. We're kind of rebuilding her body now with physical therapy and occupational therapy because the steroids just really do a number on her physically. So now that she's off of the steroids and feeling better. She's able to move better. Has that great personality back.
We're certainly hopeful because it's been a year now that she's been getting this treatment, and she's remained very clinically stable and has improved in many ways and has been able to get a very good surgery, and we're hopeful that it's contributing to her disease stabilization.
When we went to Houston, the day of the surgery, we had a Lily Strong Day where we blasted out on our social medias for everybody to wear their Lily Strong shirts, and if they didn't have one, to show some support for Lily. So SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, which is brand new and just opened, put up on their huge screen above the field the Lily Strong logo in support for her. It was amazing to see the heartwarming support and how many people went out of their way to make sure that they did something, and to think of her and to get her through that surgery was just amazing.
What did you think when you saw that?
I felt loved.
Because of the experience with Lily, we're now going to be able to launch a clinical trial across North America through the Pediatric Brain Tumor Consortium. That's really exciting to know that the science developed at Roswell Park is now going to be coming to life all across the country in a very novel therapy for children with high-risk brain tumors.
The prospect of doing this trial in 20 adult centers and 12 pediatric centers is tremendously exciting. I have, worked my whole career for this, and it's given us tremendous encouragement to go to the next level, even though as you go to the next level, it gets harder and harder. We're finally at a point where we can really answer the key question about how this new treatment compares to standard therapy that's already out there, which we know is not at all perfect. And we can determine whether this is really going to be part of the future for treatment of this disease.
The first scan that we had post-surgery, there was some drawback of the tumor, which the doctors believe was from a combination of post-surgery and the vaccine actually working and doing its job. Everybody should get a second opinion, especially when they tell you the odds are against you.
Or a second chance.
Or a second chance. Defeat was not going to be an option for us. So we continually went and found people that could tell us yes and try to discredit the people that were telling us no. With glioblastoma, it has a high rate of recurrence. So what's great to see right now is it's not recurring. And the doctors in Atlanta are very happy with the fact that they're not seeing this recurrence, that they do believe this is happening, that we're able to share this vaccine now with 20 other hospitals across the United States that just got approved, and we like to think that Lily's had a lot to do with that.
Thank you.
That's Lily. I wouldn't want you to do it any other way.
And she's out of here.
Coming up, we sit down with Dr. Thomas Schwab and Dr. Anurag Singh to learn about how your donations help propel cutting-edge research and how clinical trials gave more time to cancer patient James Ace. But first, let's meet up with our Ride for Roswell correspondent Sydney over at the West Her Automotive Group.
I'm standing outside of the executive offices of West Her Automotive Group. Join me inside to meet President and CEO, Mr. Scott Beeler, to learn why supporting the Ride for Roswell is so important to them. Hi, Mr. Beeler. Thank you so much for having us today.
Sydney, it's a pleasure to see you. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you so much for everything you and Team Western does for Roswell Park. We could not say thank you enough.
Well, we've been very fortunate. Our company's been treated very generously by this community for many years. Proud of being the title sponsor for the ride.
Can you tell me more about your favorite thing that Western does?
We have riders in it. We have the setup crew. We have a crew for the rest stops. We're involved in every facet of the event, and we're proud to be connected with it. Every T-shirt I see, every advertisement I see, and every flag I see, when I see Western's name on it, I know not only me, but our entire organization is so proud to see that Western name on this event.
Tell us about your employees' involvement.
Not only do they raise funds and ride in the ride, but many of them volunteer for the Western rest stop.
I'm actually going to head over and speak to Chris right now to get a little bit of some behind the scenes. Can I bring you anything back?
I am good, but please tell everybody over there in the tent that they're doing an awesome job.
Will do. Let's go. Chris, we were at this giant Western rest stop. Thank you so much. Tell us about this amazing spread you have here.
Today we have clementines and bananas and granola along with water and Powerade. Make sure that we can keep all the riders nourished, make sure they have a good time throughout their day, and get them back to UB on their way.
That's amazing. All the riders love this rest stop and love your volunteers. Tell us about your team.
Typically we run about 50 to 60 volunteers. We can have approximately 4,000 to 5,000 people at least come through, whether it's just water or if it's food, everything else, that they get to come in and stay with us for a while.
Chris, tell me what it means for Western to be out here for the riders here.
I've lost a friend recently due to cancer, and it just puts that secondary meaning to helping the community, but also my friends and family.
Thank you so much, Chris. Any favorite memories here at the rest stop?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them.
You love it. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
As you can see, Westhurst support goes far beyond being just the presenting sponsor of the Ride for Roswell. Volunteers, rest stops, a top fundraising team, even vehicle support, we could not do the ride without them.
Welcome back to the Ride for Roswell 2021 TV special. Let's take a look at some of the best photos of our riders from this year's Ride for Roswell. Now, here's Steve Tasker.
Having the option to be treated at a comprehensive cancer center in your backyard might be something you take for granted, but that's what we have here in Roswell Park. Access to world-renowned cancer experts who specialize in the latest treatment options for your specific type of cancer. I want to introduce you to a patient who has benefited from just that. 10 years ago, he was part of a clinical trial that was funded by events like the Ride for Roswell, and since then, has lived a fulfilled life while continuing his care at Roswell Park.
What makes Roswell really special is the fact that we truly are a comprehensive cancer center. One morning, there's a knock on my door, and in comes Dr. Anurag Singh, one of our radiation medicine doctors. And he says, "Hey, listen, Tom, I heard that you specialize in kidney cancer and that you do research in your research lab on immunotherapy and kidney cancer. I have an idea."
You know, we've got this new thing that we could try, and I've been itching to have some surgeon, be willing to operate.
We started to talk and kick some ideas around, and it turns out that the two of us were really interested in how to make the immune system respond better to advanced kidney cancer. The concept was born that what if you radiate kidney cancer with really high doses of radiation therapy? What happens?
I always wanted a restaurant. I stopped one day and I looked in the window, it said for sale. I thought, I ought to buy that baby. And I convinced my wife of buying the place 43 years ago, and I'm still here.
Every day we get up in the morning and come down and gives us something to do and something to look forward to, and I think that keeps us going too.
She comes down first, turns the grills and everything on. I do all the cooking until 8 o'clock when the two cooks come in at 8. And I cook from 6 o'clock till 8. And I do that every day, 7 days a week. My name is James Ace, I'm 82 years old. I'll be 82 in November. I'm 81 now. I'll be 82 in November.
So Mr. Ace and I go back a decade by now. He almost is like a friend to me. I know his family, I know his wife, I know his children. The reason why we know each other so well is because he's been my patient. So Mr. Ace was diagnosed with a horribly aggressive kidney cancer in his right kidney. Now, you need to know there are multiple different flavors and forms of cancer in the kidney, and they carry a completely different diagnosis, prognosis, treatment with them. So we had to figure out what type of cancer did this particular patient have in his kidney. We didn't just want to know, does he have cancer in this kidney, but does he have cancer spread in his adrenal gland or one of those lymph nodes?
When they first diagnosed me, he said, there ain't much we can do for you, but he said, we'll take the kidney and everything out and we'll go from there. He said, and we'll give you chemo and we'll work with you. And he said, you might go 3 months, you might go 6, who knows? And that's just the way he left it.
This patient, no matter how we treated this patient, would have had a very limited prognosis of life. This man had no other chance but trying something cutting edge, something completely new, something completely out of the box, something that you really can't get anywhere else but a place like Roswell Park. So Mr. Ace actually met with one of my collaborators, Dr. Anurag Singh, who is one of our radiation medicine doctors.
I knew my piece, I knew the radiation piece. Rather than treating the high dose all the way to the edge of the tumor, I gave the high dose just to the tumor and just away from the margin.
That type of radiation treatment was cutting edge, brand new. Nobody else really in the area was delivering that type of radiation treatment. And that was called stereotactic body radiation therapy, or short SBRT.
He was one of the first people that we treated like this. He had the confidence that we could do what we were saying, and that actually gave us confidence as well.
What other choice did we have at the time? It was that or just go home and die. And I think that was just an opportunity that was presented to us that we had to take.
Every time that they sat down with me, they always got together. It isn't just one. We all sit down and they're the ones that made a decision.
For Tom's part, he was really quite confident in his skills as a surgeon. Right? And he knew that for the doses of radiation that I was talking about, that he could still get around where he needed to get around.
We took Mr. Ace 4 weeks after his kidney tumor was radiated with SBRT to the operating room. Mr. Ace did really well. We got him completely cleaned out. All his cancer was gone at that point. He did require a number of chemotherapy options, a number of new immunotherapy options, and 10 years later, Mr. Ace is still alive, and actually, I'm happy to say, doing really, really well.
James Ace, participating in this study, has had an impact on kidney cancer patients throughout the world. And so, I get a little personal boost, every 6 months as I'm reviewing his chart, right? Oh my goodness, this patient is still alive, he's still doing well.
It just makes you feel, it was worth keep going. I don't know how many times I would have given up if it wasn't for Dr. Schwab and some of the other ones that kept me going.
That's why you really want to come to a place like Roswell Park where you have all the super specialists in that particular cancer in one building under one umbrella thinking all just the same thoughts about your particular cancer.
Roswell to me is number one. All the doctors at Roswell, nurses, everybody in that hospital to me is number one. They were excellent.
It's just been a tremendous time for us. I want him to be a survivor. I want him to be around for his great-grandchildren, his grandchildren.
I didn't think I'd even see the grandkids, great-grandkids. And if it wasn't for Roswell there again, I would have never seen them.
Going there and getting treated the way he does, and everybody's so good and so knowledgeable. It's just so good to him.
The one thing that makes Roswell truly special is the fact that you are able to find patients like Mr. Ace who trust physicians like myself here at Roswell. You combine that with some of these phenomenal donor dollars that Roswell is privy to receive, and you put that together with some really, really creative, scientific, brilliant physician scientists, and you end up with really cutting-edge oncology treatment, cancer treatment at Roswell Park, right here in downtown Buffalo. It's hard to get anything better than that.
Up next, we introduce you to Annie, this year's Celebration of Hope Torchlighter. Hear about her cancer journey as a young wife and mother of 3. Stay tuned. There'll be more right after this.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, Sydney. Welcome to M&T Plaza.
Wow, beautiful. Everywhere you look downtown, you see an M&T Bank. Just like at the Ride for Roswell, everywhere you see a rider, you see an M&T Bank employee cheering them on.
And we love that. I love on Ride Day to look out and see a sea of M&T volunteers and riders helping in any way we can. An interesting fact, next to Ride for Roswell Blue, M&T Green is the color you're going to see the most on Ride Day.
And when we're talking Ride for Roswell donations, we love the green.
And I want you to meet 2 of our M&T team members who are going to tell you a little bit more about the M&T story and our employee contributions to the ride. But before you get started, I want to give you a little green to wave. And by the end of the day, you're going to be an honorary member of Team M&T.
You can bank on it. So I'm at the M&T Gold Dome, and I can't seem to find Andrea anywhere.
Sydney, up here.
Wow, Andrea, it's amazing up here.
It is. And where else can we test out the official M&T Bank sunglasses? It's important that we can cheer safely and look cool in the process.
You are so right. Our riders appreciate the swag so much. It really makes them feel like they're a part of something big.
Big smiles and big cheers, but you haven't even seen the best piece yet. We need to go high tech for some cool low tech.
Wow, Katie, this tech hub downtown is amazing.
Thank you. We are so proud of what we built here. When you think of tech in downtown Buffalo, M&T will be the first thing that comes to mind. But since you're here, I'd like to show you the most important volunteer tool.
Is that
This is the result of years and years of prototyping and testing, our M&T Green cowbell.
It doesn't matter if you're at the starting line or riding through the finish line. The one thing you can always hear is that M&T cowbell. And just like those t-shirts say, you could never have enough cowbell.
Being an M&T volunteer is all about cheering on the riders. We want the riders to know that M&T and its thousands of employees are here to support them in raising money for Roswell Park.
We are so thankful for all that M&T does. Am I now an honorary member of the M&T team?
You're good to go. Cheer as loud as you can.
Thanks, I'll see you at the ride. From all of us at the Ride for Roswell, we thank M&T Bank for their continued partnership.
Now, let's take a look at some of the best photos from the teams that participated in this year's Ride for Roswell.
I'm excited to be standing outside at Tops Market's newly renovated East Amherst location. Each year, Tops feeds thousands of people at the event. But maybe what you didn't know is it goes beyond the riders. Let's head inside to see how they get it all done. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Sydney.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So first, tell me about yourself and what does Tops do for the Ride for Roswell?
So I'm Community Relations Coordinator for Tops, and that means that I get to do events and figure out how to bring everything to life for all the food needs that we need for things like the Ride for Roswell.
Oh, that's amazing. I know each year riders look forward to seeing the huge Tops tent with the logo on it.
Absolutely. We're excited to be able to provide everything each and every year. Let's head over to our table and I'll show you everything that goes into our food prep.
Let's do it. Look at this amazing spread.
So this is a small offering of some of the things that we do each year for the Ride for Roswell. First, we have the food that we would do for the Celebration of Hope. So we serve about 2,500 people for that event. We've been doing that for 8 years now, and that equates to about 43,000 pounds of salads we've done.
Oh my goodness. I know each year our riders and their families look forward to coming together and eating your delicious food.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking at those cookies. So what do we have over here?
Yeah, of course. We can't forget about our volunteers. We provide things like wraps and veggie trays, and of course you can't forget about a cookie.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Our volunteers are the heart and soul of the ride, and these cookies are to die for. So I know we really appreciate it.
Of course.
What's down here?
So this is our rider box this year. We've put together they're a small assortment of some things to keep you well nourished after your ride. They have yogurt, string cheese, some salty snacks, everything they need when they come back after doing that long course.
Oh, this looks so great, and thank you so much for all that you do for the Ride for Roswell. We appreciate it, but you know what? Hope you don't mind, I'm gonna just take my box to go.
Absolutely.
From all of us at the Ride for Roswell, we thank Tops Friendly Markets for being a proud sponsor each year.
We're back with the Ride for Roswell 2021 TV special. Here's Steve Tasker.
It is truly amazing to hear how Roswell is touching people's lives by providing comprehensive cancer care. And that care is being provided right here in your own backyard. To help ensure that critical research in the fight against cancer continues, don't forget to scan the QR code in the lower left-hand corner to make a donation. Now, I want to introduce you to a very special Roswell patient. Her story is a journey of family, love, and determination, and we were honored to have her carry on the tradition of lighting the ceremonial torch at this year's Celebration of Hope. Meet Annie Cahoon.
It's weird to think back on for where I am in my life now with kids, and I actually sent a text to my friend the one night. Friday night, I was doing laundry because the kids were in bed and that was like the downtime that I had. And I said, did you ever picture when you were in your 20s that this would be your life? At 8:30 at night on a Friday night that you would be folding laundry? She's like, no, I would be getting ready to go out. I'm like, exactly. And that's what our life was for a really long time. Honestly, didn't even really know if we wanted kids. And then I was in the room when my niece was born, and I came home and I said, I want that. And I was 31 at the time, and I was 33 when Jack was born. And it was just something that once that first one happened, you realize, things just change. I don't know if I can even explain it. When we had the two kids, Mick was like, I think I'm good. And he teaches second grade. So they had some like Christmas concert at school. And there was this little girl up there, and he was like, oh my gosh, I really want that. I want another kid. I really want a girl. And she completed our family. So I had shoulder surgery last February. I was in a sling for like 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. I got out of my sling and I had this like pain in my armpit. The doctor said there's something there, I can't tell exactly what it is. We want to do a biopsy. Let's just do this right now. And then I got a phone call the next day. So I was in my office when she called. She said, is Mick home? I said, he is. She said, okay, it's not good. So I called him in and I was crying, and he just started crying. She said, the kind of cancer that you have is not the kind we like to see. She said, it's called triple negative. It is rapidly reproducing, so it spreads more quickly.
Yeah, it was just life-changing. That moment was the worst that I can remember of my life.
After that initial shock of finding out that you have cancer, you're 40 years old, your kids are 3, 5, and 7. Sorry. It's scary, right? My kids are little. Am I gonna die from this? We knew I was starting chemo, so we knew there were gonna be physical changes. So we sat the kids down and just explained to them, I have to go get medicine. It's gonna make me better, but I'm not gonna feel well. There might be days where I'm really tired. My hair is gonna fall out, which was a really hard thing for me. Jack cried. Out of the 3 of them, it impacted Jack the most. He's the oldest. He understands the most.
I think that when we got the diagnosis, it really felt like something that happened to us, and why did this happen to us? And we were sad and mad, and once we were all through those emotions, that really it was time to make sure that this wasn't going to be the end, and that this was, you know, the start of our battle and the start of a new story for us.
When my doctor called and told me, she was like, you have two options. She said you can go one place or you can go to Roswell. And I said, oh, well, there's no, that's not even a discussion. Like, I want to go to Roswell. There's no place that I would rather go. And it is the most amazing place that I've ever been. As soon as I step foot in there, you're filled with this feeling of hope. I was then sent for a whole slew of tests. I had an appointment with Dr. O'Connor, who was my oncologist. I saw my surgeon. They're great. I mean, all of the doctors and nurses and techs and therapists and everybody that I've seen there is just, they are the most amazing people. I ended chemo on September 29th and then had surgery a month later. At that point, I just was, let's do this. Let's get anything that is left in me out. So I woke up, we got it all out, and I immediately started crying. Because that was the first time the cancer was finally out of my body. Treat each day like it's a gift. It's more days that I get to spend with my kids. It's more days that I get to spend with my husband.
One of my favorite things to do with my mom is snuggle. I think my mom is pretty.
You've got kids, they say crazy things. They have no filter.
My hair was longer than my mom's.
Behind me is a wall of quotes of our kids from when they've been growing up at different times in their lives and different things.
I think there's a comment that Maddox made. His favorite food is pancakes. And he said,
Mama, what if you died? Daddy doesn't know how to make pancakes.
He had just turned 5 at the time that I was diagnosed, so not a huge impact for him. It makes me laugh. It makes me happy to go back to remembering when those things happened. It makes me, I don't know, in awe of the life that I've been given, the family that I have.
I never thought we would be here. I never pictured this as our lives. But I'm so proud of you and everything that you went through, and how strong you were through it, and your faith. And the fact that you just kept doing your thing as a mom, even with everything out of control around us and around you. And I am just so proud and amazed by your strength.
We look back at, we talk about it all the time, we look back at like the last year.
I need a little sunshine. It's been a hard year. I had a lot of dark nights, yeah. And we're still waiting on some daylight to reappear.
I know that this life is temporary. There's nothing saying that it's not going to come back. I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see them get married and have kids, and I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for the life-saving treatment that I got at Roswell.
Coming up, we relive the magic of this year's Ride for Roswell and the return of the Celebration of Hope. Later, join us for a discussion with Roswell's top doctors about why they're excited about the future of cancer research. We'll be right back.
Guess where I am? Home of Buffalo's most famous hot dog. Today we're going to find out why the Ride for Roswell and Salen's hot dog go so well together. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Sydney. How are you today?
Fine. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for all that Salen's does for the ride.
Absolutely. It's such a great event and such a great ride in the community. And Salen's, as you know, has been around Buffalo for 152 years, 5th generation family-run company. So we're just happy to be a part of the community and a part of this great event.
After 14 years of the ride, the riders get off their bikes and they really look forward to that Salen's hot dog.
Absolutely. Over the 14 years, we estimate we've given over 70,000 hot dogs to the Ride for Roswell event.
70,000 hot dogs?
70,000 hot dogs. It's a lot of hot dogs, right?
That's a lot of hot dogs, you're right. So it's a summer day.
Yep.
It's hot out, riders have just gotten off their bikes. Can you see where I'm going with this?
I can see where you're going with this. I got just the person you should meet to get you a perfectly grilled Salem hot dog. Let's go. Sydney, I'd like to introduce you to Bill, 5th generation Salem family member. He's here to teach us how to grill up the perfect Salem's hot dog.
Thank you so much, Mike. Nice to meet you, Bill.
Nice to meet you too, Sydney. Let's head on over to the grill.
Let's do it. All right, so we're at their grill. Are we just gonna throw them on?
No, you don't just throw a hot dog on, especially a premium hot dog like Salem's. You want to take them out of the refrigerator first. Let them warm up about 20, 30 minutes before you put them on the grill. Billy's doing a great job. He's got them set up in stages here as well. So once we warm those hot dogs up, he's gonna start getting a nice char on the outside of that casing. Gonna really give you that flavor and that snap when you bite into it. So that's the key, the Salem signature snaps.
Yes.
You definitely want that. This is an experience, right? You're having an
Exactly.
experience, so.
Oh, that's true. They look and smell so delicious.
They do, don't they?
Well, thank you so much, everyone at Roswell Park and the family of the ride. Thank you so much for all that you do. We can't say enough.
We appreciate it. Happy to help and happy to be a part of the ride.
Oh my gosh, so can we get a little bit now?
Yeah, I think they're ready. Bill's got them ready. Let's go.
Let's do it. From everyone at the Ride for Roswell, we thank Salins for their continued support.
Now, let's take a look at some of the best photos from this year's Celebration of Hope.
I'm standing outside at Lindy's beautiful 105-acre campus, excited to learn more about one of the cornerstones of the Ride for Roswell, teamwork. Let's head on to campus and talk more with Thierry Bourgeois, longtime supporter of the Ride for Roswell, and Lindy's technology site director. Hi, Terry.
Hey, Sydney. It is so great to have you join us here on this really beautiful day.
Thank you so much. And when you say us, you really mean it.
That's right, Sydney. Our contribution to the ride starts with a really great team.
You are so true. Teamwork is so essential to the ride. And is that something that comes naturally to Lindy?
We bring teams together from all around the world to put together our cutting-edge technologies for our customers, and we carry that passion to supporting our community.
That support really helps teams get to their next level in fundraising.
Yes, and our contributions start with sponsoring a team. We provide swag and swag bags, and we also provide a matching gift from our Lindy Global Giving program that actually doubles a rider's contribution to the ride during Spirit Week.
Wow, that is incredible. Thank you so much for your generosity.
We are so happy to be part of it, Sydney, and it's great to see you.
From everyone at the Ride for Roswell, we give a big thank you to everyone at Lindy for their commitment to the ride.
We now return to the Ride for Roswell 2021 TV special. Let's take a look at some of the best photos of our volunteers from this year's Ride Day.
Now the moment we've been waiting for. I think I speak for everyone when I say how excited I was to have the Celebration of Hope, Peloton, and the Ride for Roswell back this year. Let's take a look back at this year's Ride for Roswell presented by the Westher Automotive Group.
The Ride for Roswell is kicking off this evening. The Peloton will ride from Roswell Park down to the University of Buffalo's campus, and tonight we'll light the torch to kick off Ride for Roswell weekend.
It was electric. Patients, the physicians, the procession, all of us marching together. I have to tell you, the whole evening, I was on the verge of tears. Here we are, 2021, Ride for Roswell. UB, we're here, we're back.
This is actually my first Ride for Roswell. My girlfriend was diagnosed with breast cancer a couple of years ago. Very important for me to come out and show my support for her and for everybody else that's going through exactly what we went through.
We're really excited to be here. These are first-time riders. We're starting a tradition.
We are really happy to be back and be able to support Roswell.
Roswell saved my life, so we just wanted to do anything that we could to try and help raise money for them so they can keep doing all the good work.
We're here today to support cancer research and ride in memory of our Aunt Linda.
I think our patients needed this. Whether you've survived cancer, you're in current therapy, or you have a loved one who's struggling with this disease, we all needed this. We needed to come together to support each other, to give hope for the future.
You know, everyone knows a loved one, everyone knows someone that's diagnosed, and everyone at Roswell Park is so inspired by this community that just continues to support us year after year.
Today I'm really happy to be back. This is going to be a great day, and I'm riding for my brother Jason.
We're glad the ride is back. I'm riding for this one over here. And this is awesome. We're having a great time.
I'm just so excited to be here. I bust with pride to lead this wonderful organization.
Wow, over $5 million raised this year, and that number is still growing thanks to donations coming in right now. I'm Steve Tasker, and it was an honor to be your host this evening. And everyone here at Roswell Park thanks you for your continued donations to the Ride for Roswell. And now, I'm excited to punt it off to Brian Duff, who will tackle the second half of the show. Take it away, Brian.
Thanks, Steve. We'll take it from here. Welcome to Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, our nation's first such center, founded in 1898. A true beacon of hope for those in the fight here in the Western New York community and beyond. I'm Brian Duff, host of Buffalo Sabres Hockey on MSG and ardent supporter of Roswell Park and those who support it. And boy, do we support it. The Ride for Roswell, Hockey Fights Cancer, the 11-day Power Play, the Empire State Ride, and Bald for Bucks. All incredible examples of community fundraising bringing about large-scale donations. You'll get a glimpse into what's new and exciting here at Roswell Park, in part because of your ongoing generous contributions. With me today from Roswell Park, Dr. Candace Johnson, President and CEO. Dr. Thomas Schwab, Chief of Strategy, Business Development, and Outreach. Dr. Carl Morrison, Chair of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine. Dr. Agnes Vitkevich, Chair of Cancer Genetics and Genomics. And Dr. Mukund Seshadri, Professor of Oncology and Chairman of the Department of Oral Oncology. Dr. Johnson, after everything we have seen in the world these last 18 months, how is Roswell Park?
Well, Brian, thank you. It's great to see you again. We have a long history, and you do so many wonderful things for this community, so thank you. This has been a year and a half, to say the least. And at the beginning of this pandemic, who knew where we would be? Because people were still getting cancer. People still needed to go to their doctors. People still needed to be screened. How were we going to get through this to be able to address the needs of our patients? And we've done it really because of the leadership of the folks up here and at the Institute. We got through it. Patients didn't lose their care, and here we are today, excited for the future and what's ahead for us.
From the clinical point of view, we see that a lot of patients, because they didn't have access to their primary care doctor or to their standard screening procedures and screening imaging, come in with more advanced cancer than they would have come in a few years ago. And so for us, that means that the acuity of patients is greater, patients are sicker, surgeries are more complex, the hospital is really busy taking care of these really sick patients. However, we're ready for it, and we do very, very well taking care of these patients.
From a pathology perspective, we have a whole new era of testing for coronavirus, right? And COVID-19 testing and all these different types of things we have to do to ensure that our patients are not, actively passing virus to other patients. That was a challenge that we took up and were successful at.
Did you learn about your fellow co-workers an awful lot too, as far as their resiliency?
Absolutely. So I think one of the big reasons why we came out of the pandemic, and I know we're still not completely out of the woods yet, was really the teamwork, the individuals. We all came together. We all had pretty much calls day and night, regardless of what the issue was, to answer collectively, come up with solutions to the problem. So I think that, and also the preparation that went in even before the first case hit Western New York. So we were always under the leadership of Dr. Johnson and all the other leaders. It was the fact that we knew it was going to happen, so we were really prepared for it.
Now, it was a scary time. There were no manuals written, there was no roadmap what to do on the daily basis. It was our leadership being here in the room, which is behind this window, making rules every day by being connected with the leaders in our state and also the leaders in the other states, basically inventing the way how we can survive this pandemic and how we can do it as fast as possible and as best as we can.
Dr. Schwab, a few years ago, Roswell introduced the Roswell Park Care Network. Why is expansion like this important to Roswell Park?
Well, Roswell Park's mission is to bring the highest quality of cancer care to as many patients as possible. And that's beyond the borders of Western New York. So we wanted to bring that level of cancer care to as many patients in upstate New York primarily as possible. And we can't do that alone. We have to do that with partners. And those have to be like-minded partners that have the same mission in mind to bring the same quality of care to their patients. And so we do that in partnership. And imagine you're a cancer patient and you may need daily chemotherapy or radiation treatment. The last thing you want to do is drive through a snowstorm for a couple hours to come to downtown Buffalo for your treatment. If you can receive the same quality of care and maybe at some point also the same access to clinical trials locally as if you were to come to downtown Buffalo.
We really need to be there, not only for the people right in our immediate catchment area, but for everyone. Everyone should have access to NCI-designated care, and that's what we offer here.
Dr. Seshadri, research is really what Roswell Park is known for. How is research funded, and how is research conducted here?
These things take time. So you don't just overnight bring a drug from early stage testing to actually giving it to a patient, right? So it goes through so many phases, and that's where these donor dollars come in, because in order to kickstart that idea, that novel idea or a drug that's showing some promise against a certain type of cancer, before we even go to the federal agencies to seek for funding for clinical trials, for example, we need to show evidence that, hey, this is promising, we think this is a good approach. And so in order to build that evidence or make your case, if you will, and that's where the research component comes in. And I cannot thank all our donors enough for every ride that they do, for every for every shave that they do every year, and that's an integral part of what we do. So that's pretty critical. So there's actually quite a few exciting opportunities that have been coming through. There's been a lot of interest in immunotherapy for a while now, but there's also newer opportunities for developing combination therapies that could maybe improve the efficacy of immunotherapy. There's also a huge emphasis on personalized medicine, where we are trying to decide which patient would actually benefit from these therapies and how to actually match the patient or the tumor to their cancer care. So those are all some exciting opportunities.
Dr. Vikevich, genetics have become a popular dinner table topic ever since home tests rose to fame. Are some cancers genetic?
So I'm glad that you mentioned the popularity of genetics. It's actually fascinating to me that the field that was around for a long time is being reborn. And this is because of the amazing scientific discoveries that basically are currently reshaping and reinventing the field of genetics. And because of these scientific achievements, we now understand that genetics impacts on every single aspect of our life. It's not just our cancer predisposition, but it's also how tall are we going to be. This understanding and the fact that now we have a means to predict the predisposition to cancer and potentially modify are new. And I think they are very exciting to the public, because not only we broke the code, we know our genome, but now we start to understand it enough to come up with the tools how we can reverse some of the processes that before were irreversible. We also have strategies allowing us to detect their cancers earlier or treat them at the earlier stage, which is very important in the fight against cancer.
Dr. Morrison, personalized medicine when it comes to cancer care certainly sounds like something that could save more lives. Talk to us about personalized medicine.
You know, personalized medicine really is the association of a biomarker or test that identifies that biomarker with a specific therapy. And it has really revolutionized treatment, right? Areas like lung cancer, which used to be essentially 100%, death in 6 months, we're now seeing 35 to 40% of those patients becoming, long-term survivors, right, because of targeted therapies. But it takes innovation. It takes a lot of people working on that process, many disciplines. It crosses many areas of Roswell Park and not just the testing. We have to have a strong informatics department. We have to have a strong testing group. But it has changed the way we approach care at Roswell Park. And certainly, it has been one of the leading beneficiaries of all the money that is raised through stuff like Ride for Roswell and Taste of Life. We would not have done it without them.
To jump in, the point of the network is to allow patients in areas that are miles and miles away from Roswell Park to have access to this type of research, personalized medicine that they would have not had any access to. And now this is streamlined. They walk into their local oncology office that's affiliated with Roswell Park, and they will have access to that whole machinery that we're talking about, of research, of excellence, of quality. That's what the network is about.
For all of you, what are you most excited about at Roswell Park right now?
Innovation. We've always been noted for innovation. We will continue to always be known for innovation, right? I always tell this story, goes back to, prior to 2012 with Dr. Johnson. At that point, she was not the CEO, right? She had an important leadership position here, but I can always remember every morning at 7 a.m., I could hear these little tap, tap, tap coming down the hallway, right? And she would open the door and she'd say, well, what are we going to do about personalized medicine? If this is what we're known for, innovation, what are we going to do, right? And it just goes to show, right? It's innovation we've always been known for. We'll always be known for it. And it's what changes patient care, is innovation.
So I'm happy to add to it. It's innovation, but also translation the innovation into patient care. And it actually ties up to many themes from prior conversations. Mukund has been a champion of making our research possible here. And research, simple word, has big components. There is the basic research, and we have amazing basic faculty that is now targeting genes that were always, for a long time, thought to be untargetable. We are having scientists working here on targeting p53, one of the main tumor suppressor genes, which is lost in many cancers. And that research already is showing promise in terms of new drugs that then are being tested by our translational researchers who are using human samples. We have excellent biobank here, and also models that we are developing here to recapitulate human disease better before we moved into ultimate test, which is clinical trial in our patients.
Needless to say, the innovation is a critical part of what we do and excites all of us. But one of the things I think, particularly in the last couple of years, that has kept me energized, kept me going, is there have actually been some really out-of-the-box ideas that have come forward. Proposals have been put together with a team of investigators with complementary expertise. Two people that you would not have expected to think about working together on a project are now working together. We're trying to learn from lessons from certain cancers and see, can we apply some of that? So if there are lessons from pancreatic cancer that we could maybe apply to breast cancer or prostate cancer, even though all cancers are unique and that's part of what makes it challenging, there are some common denominators. So I think part of that exciting part, even seeing the fact that we have the advisory committee that reviews these applications, and we see some of these really high-risk ideas that are coming forward that if we do succeed, have the potential to make a tremendous impact, not just for our patients, but really for cancer patients at large. So that's pretty exciting.
Dr. Schwab?
As a surgeon scientist, the thing that excites me the most at Roswell Park is the fact that a patient truly receives multidisciplinary care. So a patient may come to see only me as the surgeon, but that patient has access to all the other disciplines, the radiologist, the subspecialized pathologist, the bench to bedside research that we may have clinical trials for, and that patient has access to that in all of one visit. So we present virtually all of our patients in what we call tumor board, where there's radiation doctors, chemotherapy doctors, surgeons, pathologists all sitting together discussing that particular patient's case, and we'll see whether there's a clinical trial that the patient may be eligible for, and they'll truly have access to cutting-edge treatment all in one visit. And that's really what modern cancer care is all about. It's not, hey, listen, I operated on you, let's see your radiation doctor 4 weeks from now, and then 2 months later see the chemotherapy doctor. It's all coordinated in one visit under one roof right here.
I mean, you get the benefit of all of these experts that sit around the table and look at your medical record and look to see, and are there new ideas? Should we be looking at molecular markers? Should we be sending the tumor out to be looked at genetically? All those things come to bear, and so people get a very a comprehensive approach to the management of their disease.
And what gives you the most pride being here on a daily basis?
Seeing a patient, having a patient say, thank you, you saved my life, that really is probably the most powerful statement that you can receive as a physician.
Dr. Morrison?
For me, it's knowing that we're doing things that are probably only done in 10 or 15 other institutions in the United States. You know, very unique things that are, you know, like I say, very innovative, cutting edge, right? You know, we're out there on the front lines.
Dr. Seshadri?
I have to say, really, the people I work with, right? So the team really makes a big difference. They're gonna be good days, they're gonna be bad days, but you know that we are all focused on the same mission. We're trying to achieve the same goal, and so everybody from whether it's the housekeeping staff or Dr. Johnson all the way to the top, right? We have that buy-in to that machine. So that I think is a critical portion, and that excites me.
Dr. Vikevich?
Making a difference. Many of our patients, they come with very advanced cancers, and they have 1 or 2 shots to really fight their disease. So it does take significant amount of time and effort to basically read through their history, look at the variety of the tests, and then determine what is the next best step for them.
Dr. Johnson?
So I am bursting with pride to be the leader of this institution. Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be with these individuals as my leadership team? And I had, there are other leaders. We couldn't put everybody up here. I'm so proud to be a part of this institution. I think there's such promise in what's ahead for us in cancer therapies, new innovative therapies. We didn't talk as much about the cellular immune response, but immune therapies offer great promise, and we have an incredible program here for that. We can't do that without the support of the Alliance Foundation and our donors who give to us so generously through all these different, the RIDE and the ESR and Bulb for Bucks and Power Play. All those things are so important.
Well, I think I speak for everyone watching when I say this was not only informative, but incredibly inspiring. So thank you, doctors.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
And thank you, Western New York, for your continued support of Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center.